What's going on, everybody? I see Bobby went live here.
What's up?
What's going on?
How's it going? So pretty big slate here. Talked through a lot of stuff earlier and sort of have come down to my stuff. What have you got going on?
And so this is what I have. First of all, some announcements or whatever, because I wasn't there earlier. Again, tomorrow the normal Survivor pool stuff at 3:00 on Wednesday. In addition to all the other stuff we have going, Thursday we'll do MMA DFS breakdown. Friday we'll do betting breakdown. Thursday we'll probably try to cover the showdown slate if we can. I know if you're not going to be around, I'll definitely do something. But we'll have everybody covered for pretty much everything going on this weekend. I did not look at your breakdown earlier, so I'd be curious to know where you're at. Are you going to try to pay up for Snell and Strider, or are you going to do something different?
I have Snell and Strider some. I have Strider and Giolito some, and I have Strider. I have Snell and Giolito some.
You mean Castillo?
Snell and Castillo,
okay,
and Snell and Gallen some. My favorites. Let me just check something real quick. My favorites. The problem is if you end up playing the Strider thing, it does sort of lead you into what should be kind of a popular build.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I'm struggling with because I like the idea of doing it. I just feel like it is giving me a fairly popular build with Cleveland and Washington. But that is the way you do it. And then, of course, you've got guys like Bay who are underpriced for Pittsburgh. I do think that you could argue for St. Louis as another cheap. For Milwaukee as a cheaper stack, and that's something I'm flirting with. But my main stacks are going to be Dodgers, and I have a Dodger lineup with Snell and Gallen, no problem, to afford them. It's just a matter of having to play the cheaper outfielders. Then where I'm spending down, I'm playing Blackburn and Assad. Or I'm playing Clark Schmidt in Assad.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is, again, I had to mess around with the exposures because I was getting basically what you were saying. Like the Strider Snell with all the Indians. You know what I mean? And it's just way too large. It just fits in way too easily. So I decided I was going to take kind of a stand on something, and I'm for better or worse, I'm going to be insanely under on Strider. That's just what I decided. So I'm going to be playing some Snell Castillo. Snell definitely the highest owned. And then after that, a couple of guys that you mentioned, Assad, Blackburn. I don't know if you mentioned Pepio, but he's another guy I got some of, and Clark Schmidt as well. So we're on the same pages, except again I'm well under on Strider just because again I just had to force my hand in some way. To be a little bit different because otherwise I was getting to pretty much everything that everybody else was doing, So as a result of that, what I ended up, I'm still getting some Clevelands. I'm not gonna lie, but my highest owned is going to be the White Sox. Now that's not particularly earth shattering either, but to have them be the highest owned of your exposure does get a little different at least. And then other stacks that I have some of it is Kansas City, again just something a little bit different, and then and Milwaukee, which you mentioned, and you mentioned Pittsburgh as well. So I do have a little bit of Pittsburgh. I didn't get to the Dodgers. I didn't see how I could do it, but you got to it a little easier. So what I got to probably do is see if I can handbill those. So I got a better chance of getting to them if I handbill them than if I run them. So.
Yeah.
So I guess that's our main difference is you're heavier on the Dodgers, and I guess I'm heavier on the White Sox, I guess, than you, I suppose. But that's
I have the White Sox only as mini stacks. They're a terrible offense. To make them a 5-man stack on a full slate like this just doesn't feel right. Same thing I feel with Washington. I just don't think those offenses get there nearly enough, especially in not great hitting conditions. So it's hard for me to justify both the White Sox and Nationals as 5-man stacks. I just don't understand how you expect to get enough production there, like anyone would. But I do think, and again, wind blowing in from left field definitely negates the little home run upside that either of these teams have, the White Sox and Nationals. Right. But they're so cheap, they definitely fit in for the for the complementary stacks. They don't need as much production then. And I think that both make plenty of sense. But there's a reason that total is not 11, which it could be. If those two pitchers are pitching basically anywhere else against any other teams, that's an 11 plus total. That's just it's one that the people are going to have way up there. But I do think, there's still value within those teams that I think makes enough sense. I just didn't get to the 5-man versions of them. I do have the Dodgers as the number one stack. I don't think there's any that's what's so funny. I'm listening to Roto Grinders before this, and it's unanimous on their side. Every single person had the Dodgers as the number one stack. And yet the Dodgers are projected to have nobody owned like 5%. You know what I mean? So I am completely on the side of playing the Dodgers at 5%. I think that if you played the slate enough times, that they're clearly the best, by far the best team on the slate. They did release their lineup. It's their regular lineup. And I have them significantly ahead of everyone else. So my two biggest buy-ins right now, unfortunately, I have Cleveland as one of my stacks, and I'm going to have to probably change that up because I just don't want to have the chalk stack in one of my biggest buy-ins. The Dodgers are my main stack, and the other one with the White Sox 3-man. And then I have Cleveland with the Nationals 3-man, which I just think is a little too chalky for me. But the Dodgers, and especially the fact that I'm using Assad and Blackburn, I don't have to, even if the Dodgers were popular, you really just don't have to worry about it if you play the spend down pitchers. I don't expect Assad and Blackburn combinations to be all that popular today. Assad currently projecting for about 5% ownership. I think it'll be a little higher than that, but still only 10% for Blackburn. So that's one way you can get different on this slate. The teams that I was going to get to earlier that I had higher that I'm not really that interested in anymore is Houston. I have a little bit of them still as full stacks, but because I like the matchup for them specifically against Gibson. I've seen this story over and over again with the Orioles. Their bullpen just doesn't give up runs. So it made it really, really hard for me to get to more. I think Texas would be a viable one, but I didn't end up getting to them in my builds. I mentioned the Brewers is another one that I've got little pieces of in my builds, but didn't get to the full stacks as much. So really my full stacks are mainly out of the Dodgers. I do have, like I said, I have Arizona, Houston, and then you get into the Chicago, Washington pieces and the Cleveland pieces. But I don't really, it's an interesting slate because there's not a lot of stacks that I absolutely love. And some of it's just hitting weather conditions. You don't see these totals quite as high as they could be. Specifically, the hitting conditions are good in St. Louis. I'm a little surprised the total of that game is only 9. So maybe that's what I end up doing is getting to more of that St. Louis Milwaukee game. Tons of cheap pieces. I think that's a very, very logical place to pivot off of the Cleveland, Washington, Chicago stuff.
On FanDuel, I'm playing 2 in the 222 over there. I got to post on this. Oh, actually, I did post on the State Kings already. And one team I'm actually playing in one of the 222s is I'm actually playing the Yankees. And I don't feel like I played them in a while, but my normal builds are getting me to the regular those other teams, and I just saw that I could get the Yankees in, even the ones that I want, with some of the ones that I want, and still play Snell. I'm pairing them with Pittsburgh actually over there. Just again, I'm not really doing too much of either of that on DraftKings, so I figured I would get a little exposure there. And I'm playing a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, just 5 lineups total on FanDuel. I'm playing 2 in the 222 and 3 in the 55, and I'm not all Snell over there either. I do have 2 Striders of the 5 though, so I'm kind of more with the field with Strider over there, and then 2 with Snell and 1 with Castillo. So I'm not doing anything really off the board pitching wise, but just to let you know, I do have more of Strider on FanDuel than on DraftKings.
Yeah,
relative to the
Yeah, I just chopped it up. I'm playing 3 big lineups on FanDuel, and I have Strider, Castillo, and
perfect. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
I just wanted to get a little bit of exposure to the other guys is really the reason. The team I like the most over there is the Cubs.
Okay, I didn't think of that.
I really like the Cubs today, and their prices just kept me from playing them on DraftKings. On FanDuel, they are totally reasonable, and I think they make for a really, really good stack on FanDuel. So I have the Cubs as my number 1 with the Dodgers behind them. And then you get back into the Cleveland, Washington stuff again, and the Royals. Those are my teams I'm using on FanDuel.
And I did not get to. I presume he's still pitching, but just in case anybody asks, I'm not playing the Marsh today.
Oh yeah, I was wondering if you were gonna.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I am not going to play the Marsh today. There's just you know what, it seemed like there was a much better reason to play him last time. How about that? I mean, I really needed to get to. If I recall, number one, there wasn't like tremendous other options, and I really wanted to get up to expensive hitting. I didn't really, I didn't feel that this slate warranted that, so I'm not getting to the, not getting to it today.
I got 150 is me is asking if I like my guy Biggio. I mean, he's 2,800 batting cleanup, so it's hard not to like him. I absolutely think Biggio makes plenty of sense, especially when you factor in the other value in that range. So I am going to end up for sure with some Biggio. I'm not sure exactly how much yet, but I like the price, and it just feels like a good spot to play him at 2,800 because he's batting cleanup. It's really nothing other than that. But yeah, I will get to some of the Biggio. That's a pretty weak lineup that they released for. Well, it's not weak for Toronto. It just hasn't been great, and it sort of turned me on to Schmidt a little bit more than I thought I was going to early in the day. But yeah, it's weird. I have a very tight pitching pool with the spend ups, and then I've got 3 guys in the spend downs that I like, and I just ignored one range, so I might make one lineup just to include Hunter Brown and Logan Allen. But I don't think I even need to. It's just something I'm considering doing, and I really think that there's enough value to where you can spend up and play some of the better lineups if you're willing to sacrifice some things. The ones that you really can't are Atlanta and Chicago. They're the hardest teams unless you want to play Canario down at the bottom at 2,300. Even still for Chicago, it's really hard to get those guys in. So play them on FanDuel. And I like that the Dodgers released their good lineup. They still, by the way. So because of yesterday and because the way things have been going lately, the Braves have been struggling. Dodgers have been winning. Dodgers are now only 3.5 back of the Braves for the best record in baseball.
Is that right?
That would put them also with the home field advantage, obviously, if they can get there. So I think that matters a little bit to them. I don't think they're going to see the best from them, but I don't know that they're necessarily going to be people who are like, oh, yeah, if they're up 6-0 in the fourth, they're going to just take their players out. That's just not what they've done ever. I know that you think they did once. They didn't. They really don't do that. I would worry about like who they're going to play in their starting lineup. But yeah, maybe if it was 10-0 in the 6th or 7th, yeah, then they're probably sitting those guys down. But if it's 10-0 in the 7th, you're probably doing pretty well with them anyway.
Right.
The Dodgers, when I say the Dodgers, teams like the Dodgers, it means I'm playing everybody. There's no Dodgers. So to answer Triple J's question, are you prioritizing just the normal studs? No, I'm playing all of them. I mean, that's what I do with the Dodgers. The value at the bottom allows you to spend up other places while you have to worry about, pinch hit risk. You also have to realize, are we really going to bring up a lefty to pitch to the bottom of the order when the 9 hitter is a righty and the leadoff hitter is Mookie, who's a righty?
I don't see the Dodger lineup in the DraftKings. Bill, Jet, who's in the lineup?
It's the standard predicted lineup. It's Mookie, Freddie, Will Smith, Muncy, JD Martinez, Peralta, Hayward, Outman, Rojas.
And you're gonna play the cheap lefties or no?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I think you have to do a little bit of it. Outman would be my most preferred of those 3 because he's the best of them. But no problem with Hayward and Peralta; they're cheaper. So. And
you're paying $6,600 for Mookie?
Yeah. 150 is me. Let me know what the rest of your lineup is before I answer that question. That's a very strange question. It's definitely a FanDuel question. It's got to be Lane Thomas or Chris Morel. I don't know what you're doing with your lineup. I really don't think I want to keep enforcing this message here. I might be a guy who does 3-3-2s and 4-2-2s and stuff like that sometimes. I absolutely don't think of going to slates and think of guys who you're playing as one-offs. And anytime we have a user who's always asking only specifically about one-offs, it always sort of like alarm bells should be going off in your head if you're thinking about one-offs only. That's just not the way you're ever going to win at baseball. So really, really want to encourage that you don't want to play one off. So really, what's in the rest of your lineup? Do you have another piece from Washington that you're playing Lane Thomas with? Do you have pieces from Chicago that you're playing Morel with? The answer is in there somewhere. But all things being equal, I guess Lane Thomas, because he's hitting second instead of seventh and has no pinch hit risk. Rich B asking if the Padres are too expensive on DK or don't like them as much as the others. I think the Padres are fine. This is not their best lineup, and they are not too expensive. They are actually really, really cheap today. So I think if you want to play a cheap stack, the Padres should certainly be in your mix. But there's no Machado in there. It is not a strong lineup whatsoever, but it is a good spot against Feltner. And the top three guys are still studs with Bogarts, Tatis, and Soto. So you can fill in two sort of crappy pieces to play alongside. And Feltner is just not a good pitcher. So I have no problem with the Padres stack. I just didn't get to them. You can't play everything. You know what I mean? You got to sort of hone in. Even if there's other stacks that I like, I'd rather get more variations of the stacks that I really like than trying to just spread out and hope that one of them hits. So
what is Outman hitting? 8th?
Mm-hmm.
And what about Peralta 7th? Peralta 7th.
Peralta 6th. But if you're playing the stack, I would definitely I always pick like Peralta's more likely to stay in the game slightly than Hayward. It really depends on when the reliever comes in, and Outman is significantly more likely than both of those two. But they all have risk, and like I said though, again, do you really want to bring in a lefty with 3 of the next 4 hitters they face are Rojas, who's a righty, Mookie, who's a righty, obviously, and then Freeman, and then Will Smith. Freeman's the only lefty in there, and he also hits lefties just about as well as he hits righties. So will they bring in a lefty to face the Dodgers? It really depends on if JD Martinez makes the last out of the 5th inning or something. Yeah, they'll probably bring in a lefty to pitch to them. If Jason Hayward makes the last out, are they going to bring in a lefty just to pitch to Outman, and then you have Rojas and Betts? I just don't think managers would do that. So,
are you playing any Hunter Brown?
I just mentioned that he and Logan Allen are the 2 mid-tier guys that I'm not getting to, but I think that I'll probably throw one lineup in with both of them. Logan Allen and Hunter Brown, I think, are the 2 upside guys that maybe are getting ignored. So Mark, thanks 150. I appreciate it, man. I just want to try and make our job. We talk about it a lot here. We really want to make everybody better DFS players. We don't just want to make what the right play is that day. We're trying to really get into helping people out, and we've had some really good results from some of our early members, especially just by going through some training sessions and stuff like that with them. So absolutely no problem. Happy to help out, and thanks for being a good sport. We got Mark Westwater asking Dodger 5-man with Allen and Schmidt. Should he pay up?
I was just working on that literally right now.
Yeah.
Something with actually it was more of a 4-4 with the Dodgers with Allen and Schmidt.
So I'm going to answer his question from what I think. He's saying, should he pay up for Gunnar at shortstop or go low and upgrade at pitcher? My natural instinct would be to try to upgrade at pitcher, but I also think that I wouldn't really want to play Gunnar Henderson's awesome. I'm never going to say you shouldn't play him, but it's not like it's a good matchup for him. Maybe you could argue Hunter Brown's had some struggles, later in the year, but I wouldn't be trying to play Gunnar Henderson for sure. I think he's fine. I would certainly not try to do it.
So I'm going to tell you who's not bad. I mean, relative to his price. If you want to get to these guys, this guy from the Cardinals isn't terrible. This Drew Rom at 5,300. I'm just looking at some builds where I could literally play whatever Dodgers I wanted, for example.
You could do that anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had a good start. There's no leash, probably not a ton of real upside. He kind of had everything go perfect one game against Baltimore. But yeah, I'm not going to say ignore Drew. I'm playing Assad, so why am I going to say no to Drew Rom?
Well, I was playing both of them.
There you go. No, I like that kind of thinking though, Sheets.
Should I rather do that, or should I just go eat it and play Marsh after all?
No, you definitely shouldn't be playing the Marsh thing.
That's just tremendous leverage, though. No.
what leverage? First of all, we
Because
don't know
Cleveland's
that.
like 100% owned.
As I always point out, we don't actually know that he's going to pitch. That's a huge downside. He has he doesn't face that many batters anyway. Even if he does, the team that he's facing has the lowest strikeout rate in baseball.
All right.
So for me, but I don't think he's that bad. Like, it's just about he gives up tons of home runs. That's really why he struggles. And he is
but to a team that doesn't hit him.
Doesn't hit him, right? So that's what I was struggling with all day. And he also walks guys, and I don't walk much either. So
you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find the money for Blackburn in that build, actually.
But I do kind of like that idea though of I think wrong. Like I actually think that maybe I shouldn't have dismissed the Marsh thing so much. But like, do you really need to be getting leverage when you're playing two guys who are sub 5% owned as pitchers? I don't think you do.
No.
But you might prefer Marsh, and that would be a different conversation.
I mean, how do you not play Mookie in that stack? Is Hayward starting?
Yep.
Is he under 3K somehow? No.
27. No, he's 31.
Oh, so annoying.
There was a play I really liked at 3K flat that was just a random thing. I can't remember who it was.
That's what I need. I need a 3K flat.
3K flat in the outfield.
Yeah.
Olivares is my favorite, I guess, and Palacios for Pittsburgh would be my other favorite. Oh, Alec Thomas. All three of those guys I like, actually.
I don't want to do that either. I like the Assad Blackburn.
Choi's not 3,100. Choi is 2,600. This must be FanDuel. You guys we got to specify sports sites here because I can't tell what people are talking about with the pricing. But you know, as he mentioned, as Rich is saying right there, that if you play the Padres, you can play Choi super cheap. You can play the Padres really cheap. So I definitely think that they're a viable alternative to the other, you know, the nonsense from Chicago, Washington, and Cleveland to some extent. We talked about White Sox stacks the whole time.
Yep.
To answer that one, Sheets likes them. I like them as complementary pieces more than I like them as a full stack. It'll look a little bit like Sheets' early beautiful build last night that almost worked, where you had the Robert.
Almost, yeah. As long as there was nobody playing past that 9 o'clock.
Seriously, those lines are. But you know, it's crazy because at the same time, I was not far behind you, and then I also had a chance in the 555. Also, I was like in third in that one because the Phillies started off so hot.
Oh my God!
That was exactly what we dream of. What you dream of, you know?
Yeah.
You get the five sub 5% all owned guys, and they're all hitting home runs.
Okay, I think I figured out this Dodger thing. I think what I have to do to make it work is instead of playing Washington with them, to play like the White Sox maybe. Ooh, we could go with my hero, the leader of the free world, the K. Lee from the White Sox at catcher.
Guy who's got one hit in his MLB career, and it was a home run.
Nah, he's got like 12 home runs, doesn't he? Certainly feels like it.
One home run in his career, and it was the day you played him. And guess what his batting average is this year?
100.
No, if he was hitting 100, I'd be playing him. He's hitting 87.
And 87. That's a lot. 87.
0.87.
That's a lot. Not bad.
My thoughts on Kikuchi are that I think it's fine. It fits in the same as the Logan Allen and other things, but it's not what I'm doing.
This is like much easier than I thought. Okay, so
we're gonna
do this. We're gonna do this. The Dodgers with the White Sox. I could play this. Boy, I don't even need to pay that much down here. I don't even need to play the K. Lee if I don't feel like it. Who's the Dodger catcher tonight?
The Dodger catcher.
It's Will Smith at 5,400. That I can't do.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't afford that.
No, and there's other guys. I'm using Will Smith a little bit. Actually, I have Will Smith on FanDuel. I always love playing him over there because nobody ever plays him.
Dude, you know who swings it really hard, by the way?
Who's that?
This is a pretty cool one-off at catcher if you want. This Campusano
Yeah.
from San Diego. He swings it hard, and he's hitting fourth.
Yep. I think he'll end up being. I mean, it's not going to matter much, but I think he'll end up being the most popular catcher.
Oh, I don't care about that in this.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah. I just think people are going to see that he's batting fourth and Naylor is batting ninth, and Naylor is not going to be more popular than him. But I like him. You're right. He does swing it hard, and I mean those Padres. Like, look, it just depends on which way are we going to evaluate it, right? Like, the lineup is worse for not having Machado in it. But it's incredibly much more affordable. And there's also some pinch hit risk because Machado's not in the lineup. So just weigh all those things. And I think I'm going to get to a Padres stack or two, which is funny because I wasn't going to, but because of the pricing, it allows me to do the spending up for pitching and I can play the. I
have a question. Who do you like just straight up, like no salary, whatever, Tatis or Soto?
It's always Tatis just because he's multiple ways to get there. In fact, not only that, he's like, I don't know, Acuna's year this year maybe made people forget about Tatis a little bit. The guy is awesome. And I like Soto as a hitter, but I definitely would play Tatis. It's funny because Soto's actually like on a down year. Like this guy's, what happened, man? Having a down year, but like at the same time, like I really thought he'd be the best hitter in baseball by now, and he actually kind of was already, but he kind of fell off a little bit. Maybe he bounces back next year. For what it's worth, I did post my current exposures in the premium Discord. I'm going to get to more Milwaukee, St. Louis, and San Diego. That's all I can say from what I've got right now. And I'm probably going to do that when we get out of here in the next 5-10 minutes.
Meanwhile, the batting ninth recency hero of Miguel Rojas has 2 home runs in his last 3 games.
Yeah, the guy's had a little bit of a heat stretch, little power heat surge.
Heat check here on him, huh?
Yeah, he didn't hit any home runs, and I think in the second half of the year he's got to have like 5 home runs by now.
Yeah,
4 or 5 maybe. I don't know. I think it is 5. Yeah, he's at 5 in the second half of the year, I think. Let's see what else.
Profar.
All right. Any other questions, guys, before we end up getting out of here and I finish my builds?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely. What I'm doing is I'm definitely hand building something with the Dodgers. Just so you guys know, transparency. I can tell you this, that it's going to have Blackburn and Assad and most of the Dodgers that you've heard of. And then I'm still trying to figure out whether to play the White Sox or the Padres or the Nationals in there with the complimentary.
Mm-hmm.
Did you mention like which you prefer between Outman and Peralta?
Always Outman is the preferred one. He's a little more expensive though, so where you need it, you might need to play Hayward or Peralta more.
No, I'm not going to need the money either way. I don't think.
What's that?
No, I'm not going to need the money either way. So I'm gonna. I guess I'll be.
Oh, the 700 price difference doesn't matter.
No.
Okay. Yeah, then I would definitely play Outman personally.
No.
And here comes a home run from Peralta because I said that.
That's fine.
It's just the right play.
I don't care about it. You got the wrong hombre for that.
No, I know. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you think that way.
I mean, kidding.
Sheets, I was losing my mind last night. And I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but I cannot stand. If there's one thing I can't stand, it's when a guy gets terribly injured and people do a victory lap. Now, what I really can't stand is when a guy has one of the most gruesome injuries and maybe never plays again. Like I really believe that's a possibility. And within 5 minutes, everybody's bragging about playing the backup running backs.
Oh, who, Chubb, you mean?
What?
You mean Chubb?
Yeah. Did you see it?
Fortunately, I didn't. Fortunately, I didn't. I got like 4th or something in like a 222, by the way.
Oh, really?
I was, you need to be perfect at the end there.
Yeah.
But I had some swipes. Let's just put it that way. Dude, meanwhile, I mean, not to be insensitive as well, but I'm not going to mention Chubb here, but what are we talking about? 80% ownership on Ford next week?
I don't think it's going to be especially high, to be honest.
Oh, I mean, it's
going to be high. It's going to be well, no, because there's a ton of other running backs who are in the similar price range, and it's going to be.
Besides the New Orleans guys, the other guy was.
I think Jones would be the much more popular one.
I don't know, man. The guy put up 1 million points yesterday.
It's literally, and he's facing the worst matchup in football for running backs.
Yeah, it's
the lowest total of the slate.
Did you do an NFL preview slate today or no?
No, it's Tuesday.
Cool. So we can do it tomorrow.
Yeah, we can do it. I have to leave by 3 Eastern, but we'll be fine for that.
That's fine. I'm down.
Yeah. But my plan was to do that tomorrow. I don't really know what the hell this golf tournament is. I don't think I'm going to do anything with that.
I haven't even looked at it yet.
Yeah.
If it's 150 players, I'm in it. I mean,
yeah.
But so what we'll do is we'll do baseball at 12. I don't even know about early slates, but whatever it is, we'll do baseball at 12.
Yeah.
Then we'll do football at 1.
Football after baseball, yep.
And then we could do golf at 2 if you want.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm happy to do the golf thing.
I literally haven't looked at it yet, but I'm just saying, as long as I'm ready to, as long as I'm out of there by 3, because I'm gonna do Survivor at 3.
Yeah.
Then cool. Let me look real quick and see what this golf business is. This is what is this thing? Wait a minute. What is this? The Kazoo Open? This is you know what this is called? This is called no action, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, but like the biggest buy. No, this is. Sorry, guys.
I just think the golf is maybe we wait till another week.
I'll put projections up if I can get them, but I am not going over the slate that A Bjork is 10-3. You know what I mean? Like I'm not doing this.
Well said.
Tom Kim 10-9, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll put projections up, but I'm not. Yeah. So let me look at baseball real quick for tomorrow.
I do want to give a shout out though to the while I don't agree, like I hate the cheering for like, oh my God, I can't believe so and so is only this percent owned, when really or I can't believe Chubb's 88% owned. Chubb had basically no way not to be on the winning team last night if he were to play. And by the way, was in the lineups that won a lot of lineups.
Oh, dude, listen, you know what I just saw?
What?
There's something you don't know. Wednesday, tomorrow baseball, 9-game slate at 12:20.
Oh, they're playing it at 12:20 though? God damn it.
12:20 my time. 9-game slate.
All right, well because the night slate.
So we will do this. So
no preview for the night slate. That's it. No preview.
Yeah, we'll have to take a back seat. Is the 4 p.m. So for tomorrow's main slate, the Wednesday, it's only a four gamer. We're just going to go live for that one. If you're even there at all, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's probably impossible that I'm there because I'm going to be at the doctor.
Yeah. So there won't be a slate preview for that, but we're going to go live at like 11:30 or so to talk about the what's really the main slate at 12:20 p.m.
Yeah. Do you want to go earlier? Is that what you said?
I was going to say 11:30.
Oh yeah, 11:30. Perfect.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure I have my notes so I don't forget. I thought they might do that, but I thought since the only 2 games start at the 9s, and then they have all the 11 o'clock games, I thought they would start at 11, but I guess they're going to do. I'm sorry, 2 Eastern.
Wait a minute. What's going on here? Classic slate tomorrow.
Yeah, you're right. You got it right.
I did get it right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. But what's going on with the freaking engine? With the contest? I guess I got to put it.
Oh, they don't put them up usually till after the night start.
Okay.
So that's why it'll change.
All right, I guess I'm going to get rolling. There's no big lineup changes I need to know about. Like Amari Cooper's not in. Okay.
No. Yeah, right. No major lineup changes. And congrats again to Squirrel, who's a great player for winning the millions.
Yes.
He did something. It's one of those things though. This is what happens when you max entry and you can do this. You can actually play all of the backup running backs and none of the starting running backs, and you can leave enough money to where you could play Nick Chubb on the table. You know what I mean? But he actually played Ford over Chubb. The only way that ever works is if there's an injury. But
no, the same question I would ask of him if I knew him. I could tweet at this.
I can tell you this 100%. There's no way.
It's whether he did all that on purpose or whether he just had a code or whatever. He just got to all that.
Yeah, I'm sure he was overexposed to all the running backs and ended up just with one lineup like that. He was probably willing to leave 10K on the table. So they gave him one contrarian build. That's my guess.
No, yeah. So there was one Twitter account that was going over his exposure and stuff. I hate when they say, "Oh, he made the decision to do this." You don't know if he made the decision to do anything.
Right. But he is to his credit.
Oh, it's a great player. Oh, listen, totally great player.
He's a monster.
I'm just always curious. Whenever people review lineups, like even like mine, like when I play like 50 lineups and one freaking random wins like all the money. Like, oh, what a great lineup you created, dude. Listen, it was part of a total portfolio, and this is like probably the 80th lineup I ever would have constructed on my own. But people like go backwards, like, oh, look how he stacked this with this, and what a freaking G. No.
Yeah,
that's not the way it works, dude.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna get going.
All
right. Go Dodgers for the late hammer.
Yep.
And I'll talk to you later.
All right. Good luck.